What is up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. We are in Palm Springs, California for this one. This episode is episode number 7. It's a different kind of video this time, but I thought it'd be interesting to buy in for the minimum at Morongo and see how high we could run up a stack. I called it the $100 challenge, thinking that I could buy in for $100 in the minimum, but when I got there I hadn't played in like around 2 years at Morongo, so I was unsure what the blind structures and the min-max buy-ins were. So my $100 only would get me into a 1-2 or a 1-3 game, and those games are not my favorite to play. So I looked at the 2-5, and the min buy-in was 200. It was a 200 to 500, I think. And then they also have a 510 that runs on Friday night, which is a 300 to 2,000, or it's 500 to 2,000. One of those two. Anyway, this video, it's called the $100 challenge, but it's really going to be $200 for this purpose. Before we get into some hands, if you guys like poker, you probably like sports too. I don't bet big on sports, but I have thrown a couple of bets on college football and NFL. So if you guys want to hear it, here it is. If not, skip 30 seconds into the future. We can get into some hands. Yeah, so the first bet I made was I took Louisiana Monroe plus 2.5 over Georgia Southern for 50 bucks. That hit. That was pretty cool. Took Troy plus 2 over Georgia Southern for $50. That hit as well. I took Virginia Tech plus 2.5 over Wake Forest for 75. That hit. And then the only thing that lost in the college football bets this weekend was the parlay I had with Alabama, and I'm pretty sure you all know how that went. Bama just got off to a bad start and then couldn't come back after that Tua fumble in the red zone and just a bunch of other things. He wasn't playing very well with his ankle, but I don't know. My other side of the parlay actually hit, the Texas minus 275 over Kansas State. That hit, but then I needed Bama just to win outright. I didn't lay the points. So that lost me 75, but overall we made 96 on college football on Saturday, and then on Sunday with NFL I made a couple bets and we made $114. Really quickly, I took the Bucks minus 215 and the Jets plus 3. I put that in a parlay, and that was 50 to an 80, so I had that one hit. And then I lost a $10 parlay with a crap ton of teams in it. I decided to take the under in the Bucks Cardinals game because I thought everyone was going to take the over, so I'll be like against the odds and take the under, but that actually backfired. Oh well, I lost 10 bucks. And then I did a parlay with Tennessee plus 6, but they actually beat the Chiefs outright. And then I took Cleveland minus 3, which pushed, so that just got thrown out, and the Jets plus 3, so that was a parlay, so I won 44 on that. And then I took Cleveland straight up minus 3, but that pushed, so I got my 50 bucks back. So overall I made 96 in college and 114 in NFL. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that every weekend, and I'll put my little bets up here. If I lose like 100 bucks, I'm not gonna like not post it, so you guys will keep me honest. But yeah, if you guys like this kind of thing, just let me know in the comments and I'll keep posting it. Also, thank you for 400 subscribers. By the time this video comes out, we'll probably have closer to 450, but the channel's going pretty fast now. One day we grew by 75 subscribers, the other day we grew by 50. It's pretty mind-blowing, the response that I'm getting to my videos. Obviously, I'm not a professional poker player, I just do it for fun. But I think that I'm fairly good at editing, and with your comments letting me know how I can be better at editing and what you guys want to see more and less of, I'm just making content for you guys. If you guys are going to keep watching and liking the video, I'm going to keep putting them out there around twice a week. It's fun for me, and I don't know, it helps me get better because you guys are leaving a lot of good comments that I've already implemented in my videos, so thank you. Like always, be sure to like the video. It helps show it to more people. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers, and then I'll do an about me. Someone in the comments recently asked if I was related to Wolfgang Puck, and so at 1,000 subscribers I will do a Q&A where you guys can leave comments, and then I'll answer them, and you guys can know a little bit more about me. Subscribe if you're new here. I put about 2 videos a week out, so you can expect consistency with me. A lot of poker vloggers, they make really good stuff. One thing I was always disappointed with was the fact that they'd put a video out on a Monday, and then it would be next month, and they still hadn't put one out, and then they put 2 out that month, and then the next month they didn't put any out, and it's like, I really like your stuff, but I'm not getting any of your content. It's just like once a month. So I figure if you guys like my stuff, I'll put it out twice a week, and that's one thing I can try to be better than the others at, is consistency and constant uploads. So yeah, let's get into some hands. So we bought in for 200. Like I said, we came with 100 to the table, but then they informed us we needed to top off to 200 in order to play. That's what we did. We bought in for 200. We worked our stack up to around 220 in a small pot, then lost 3 or 4 small pots in a row to bring us to this first hand when we had around 120 in our stack. With around 120 in the stack, we have ace of clubs, 4 of diamonds. It folds to me on the button and I raise it up to $20. Small blind calls. The flop with around $45 comes ace ace 6 with 2 diamonds. He checks it to me and I check behind. My reasoning here was the guy was spazzing out a lot. He was doing a lot of crazy things. At one point the table even let him take $1,000 off the table. The table before I got there had won the jackpot, so everyone was pretty deep, and he was probably one of the worst players at the table. So when he said, I'm either gonna leave or you can let me take $1,000 off the table, everyone agreed. I only had, $200, so I wasn't gonna object and then piss everybody off. Obviously I knew they wanted to keep him there, so they let him take $1,000 off. Point is, he wasn't the best player, so I checked behind here on the flop, trying to induce a bet on the turn. The turn comes the 5 of diamonds, so obviously it brings the diamonds in. I'm not really too scared about diamonds. He bets $20 and I call. The river with 85 in it comes the 10 of clubs. Now he jams covering me and I snap call, sticking to the plan, and he just mucks outright. We don't show our cards, and we scoop a $245 pot. Pretty nice. Now our stack is back up to around the $200 level. We can make some moves. Here we go. With around 220 now in our stack, we look down at ace of hearts, king of diamonds on the button. The straddle is on. There was one caller, and I usually would not raise this large here. However, I'm trying to get my stack in and double up here. Whatever my logic was, I made it $50. The only person that calls was the person who limped the straddle. So we're going heads up to the flop with around 117 in the pot. The flop comes Jack 10 8 rainbow. It goes check check. I didn't want to c-bet here on this flop and get it in with just a gutter, so I wanted to make a hand first before I put my stack in. Turn comes a jack, so it pairs top pair, and he bets 55. And if I was a lot deeper and playing a normal stack size, I'd probably just call and peel here. But given my short stack, I just fold. We now have around 150 in our stack after that. We're 7-handed, the straddle is on, and I'm in middle position with pocket 7s. Perfect hand to set mine with. So I limp, my left limps, the button raises to $45 now, and I'm going to be calling here. If I hit, I'm just going to go all in, and he won't be able to fold because my stack is so short. And if I miss, and I'll just fold. If there's overcards, we'll just see what happens on the flop. So I call the 45, and my left also calls. So we are going 3 ways to the flop. With 152 in the pot, the flop comes exactly what we wanted. Jack 10 7, so we hit our set. Now our objective is to get our entire stack in there, obviously. So I check, the middle position player checks, and now the button bets 80 into a pot of 150. Obviously that's perfect for us because we only have 105 left. So we're just going to put our entire stack in there. There's no way he can fold. Obviously there's no way we're bluffing here with 105. There's no fold equity, but he has to put in the extra 25 all day with any pair. Middle position now folds and the button calls. The turn comes the 5 of hearts. The river comes the 10 of hearts. We show the boat, and it's obviously good, and we scoop a $362 pot. Very nice, very nice, very nice. So now we have $362 up from our $200 stack, and we're just going to try to keep running it up.
I told you, I don't want to do it with you.
With 362 in our stack, obviously, because we just won the last hand, we look down at King Queen of Hearts in the small blind. Small disclaimer, this is probably the best hand of the night, so stay tuned for this one. The straddle is on and the middle position player raises to 35. I call. The person that raised hadn't been raising too much, so I didn't want to 3-bet him here and then just get a 4-bet and have to fold, or just have to get my stack in with king high. So I just call, and also the straddle call. So we're going 3 ways to the flop. The straddle, obviously we have to consider that the straddle is going to have a wider range than us here because he had the $6 in already. Obviously that's not too much of the 35, and he should probably still have a strong hand here, but given that it's Morongo, it's LA Poker, and he had the $6 out there, there's only another 29 for him to call. So we're gonna keep his range a little bit wider than the original raiser. Throw around 112 in the pot. The flop comes 10 of spades, 9 of hearts, deuce of clubs. So obviously we have 2 overs and a gutter. We also have a backdoor flush draw. So we have a lot of stuff here. We're really happy with that flop. Obviously we didn't make a pair, but given that we did not actually connect with the board, we have a lot going on. And it actually checks around. I think we could be putting in a bet on the flop, although if my logic for checking was that if I bet and then I get raised, I'm just gonna have to go with the hand with all my backdoor draws. So like I played the other hands, I kind of just wanted to make a hand first before piling money in. So I check and it checks around. The turn comes a 6 of hearts, so now I pick up a heart draw as well. So I have 2 overs, a gutter, and a heart draw with 1 card to come. I start off with a check. The straddler bets $50 now, and the middle position player calls. So this is a decision we have here. Do we just pump it up here, or do we just call behind? I think that good players a lot of the time will actually be pumping this up here. The straddler could have connected with his board given his range and given that it was checked through twice. I don't know, it's 10, 9, deuce, 6. He could have 2 pairs, he could have straights, he could have all that kind of stuff. So I actually just decided to make the call here. I think in the comments you guys are going to say that I could be raising here. I could also, depending on my stack size, I could also just be jamming, applying the most amount of fold equity possible and just winning a fairly large pot there. I think when the original pre-flop raiser just calls the 50, he's really capping his range there. If he had a good hand with the hearts coming in too, he would want to be re-raising the $50. So I think a raise from my position looks super strong. It doesn't really look as much like a squeeze, and I can really just be worried about the straddler as opposed to the original raiser. However, that's not what I do. I just put in the $50 and let's try to get some equity realization on the river. With now $262 in the pot, the river comes the beautiful jack of diamonds. So we make the absolute nuts. We can't lose this hand here. We have the king high straight. And now we're with a decision. There's 2 people behind us and we're first to act. So if we check it over to them, the person who bet 50 may put in a bet, or he may get scared that the person behind him, the original pre-flop raiser, has him beat and just check it over to him, and then we risk it getting checked through. So I remember thinking about this for about a minute. I usually don't take this long to make a decision, but I was just really confused whether I should be betting here, should I be checking it over to the aggression, or should I just jam my entire stack in? The pot is around $260 and I have around 250 in my stack. If I bet 100 here, I don't know, I think that would be the bet. If I just bet normally, I would just bet 100. If I jammed, it would be 250. If I checked it over, I didn't want it to get checked through. I do something that I'm not really sure. You guys can let me know if this is an acceptable play, but I actually just jam my entire stack in. Obviously it looks pretty strong after just calling on the turn and then jamming when the jack comes. 9-10 jack. I mean, there's 3 connected cards there. It looks like I have a straight. So maybe I actually prefer just like a $100 size bet to get called by a lot more types of hands. But I actually jammed 250. The straddler tank calls now. He takes like a minute. He looks really pained. He almost folds his hand, it seems like, but then he ends up putting in the call. He says he can't fold it, and the middle position player folds. I show king, queen of hearts, and he doesn't show his hand, but he mucks his hand, so we actually scooped that pot. Later on, I asked him what he had, and he said, he was telling the whole table that he had 7-8, so he actually turned straight, and then we rivered him in a pretty good sized pot, around $762. A lot of people at the table were like, why did you take so long? You can't be folding that. And I kind of agree with him. I think he made the right decision. He had to call that there. Occasionally, I guess I could be doing that with a busted flush draw, or I could be doing that maybe with a set, although I probably would just bet smaller and then bet fold a set. But yeah, we got into a really good situation there, picked up a ton of equity on the turn. It was a gin card for him. He had the straight, but then we hit our gin card on the river. We are up to $762 now from our $200, and on to the next one.
The flips don't really hurt. No, they don't.
Give me over there.
With around $762 now in our stack, we're in the small blind with pocket sixes. The straddle is on and middle position raises to $35. The button makes the call and I also make the call here with sixes. We're going to be trying to set mine. I don't really want to be putting in a re-raise and then go heads up to a bloated pot with sixes. So I make the call. The flop with $122 comes 10-7-4 rainbow and it checks around. The turn comes the deuce. I check, middle position bets 50, the button calls, and I just put in the fold here. I was just trying to hit a set with 10, 7, deuce, and a 4. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm good there when it goes bet call. So if we were going to win the pot, we probably would have had to bet the flop and then bet the turn. Not something I wanted to do, so we lose that one. On to the next one. With around $700 now in our stack, we look down at ace of diamonds, 9 of clubs from the big blind. The straddle is on, as it has been almost the entire night here at the 2-5 game. Small blind calls, I call, and the straddle checks. Looking back at this hand, ace of diamond, 9 of clubs. I don't really like my call here. If I'm going to be coming in, I should just be coming in for a raise, or most of the time I should just be folding this hand because it's pretty bad. Either way, we are going to the flop, which comes deuce 4-5 with 2 diamonds. We have a gutter to a wheel, and we have a backdoor diamond draw with the ace of diamonds. Small blind checks, I check, the straddler bets 20, and we actually both make the call. 3 ways to the turn, and the turn comes the 3 of diamonds. We pick up the straight right there, and we also have the equity to the river diamond giving us the nuts, so we are liking what happened there. It actually checks around on the turn, so now the action picks up on the river with $90 in it. It comes the king of clubs. Pretty much a blank in my opinion. With such a connected board, the king of clubs isn't really going to be something that we're worried about. We have a straight, but now the small blind leads out for $65. I was thinking about it for a while here. Obviously we have the straight, the diamonds didn't come, which is not optimal, but we have the bottom end of the wheel here. So I'm editing this video right now and it seems that my camera for some reason did not record the end of this video. So basically what happened is the guy bet 65 and I made the call. I didn't think that I was behind too often there, and I thought for $65 it's a good price. I have a straight. Obviously we're behind a lot of flushes and a 6, so we could be letting it go, but I put in the call and he shows 10-6 of diamonds for the flush. So that's going to take it down there and on to the next one. The next hand with 560 in our stack, we pick up pocket queens in the big blind. We're playing 5-handed at this point, and the straddle is on for extra action. There's 1 limper and we raise it up to $35. And the small blind ends up putting in the call here. The villain, although I shouldn't say a villain because he was a very nice guy, he's actually a subscriber of the channel, is a guy named JB, super cool. He's the guy we're going to be going up against in this hand here. $80 in the pot. The flop now comes 8-8 deuce with 1 heart. The small blind checks it over to me. I bet $25 here and he calls. I think that a $25 bet is pretty good here. I don't want to just check back. I don't know. I just bet $25 here, trying to build the size of the pot and trying not to scare him out by betting maybe like half pot or 60% of the pot. And anyway, he puts in the call, so we are going heads up to the turn with around $130 in it. And it now comes the 6 of hearts. He now leads for $65 here, and I remember not being too sure what exactly to put him on here. Obviously we're gonna never fold. I'm just wondering if I should be putting in a raise. With 2 hearts up there, he probably could be doing this with a hand that is suited with hearts that now has a equity on the river if a heart comes. Other than that, I'm not exactly too sure what he could have here. So I just put in the call. I didn't want to raise and then get re-raised. But then again, like, what does he have that I'm not beating? I don't know. I put in the $65, and now we're going to the river with around 260 in it. The river comes the jack of clubs, and now he bets $130. I think about it for a little bit here. I just didn't understand what his story was. I guess it could make sense if he had an 8, because he limp called pre-flop, just called my bet on the flop, but then led on the turn and led on the river. I guess an 8 makes sense. Other than that, hearts brick off. So I just put in the call. I said I'm not good enough to fold queens here. He shows king 9 offsuit, So we are going to take this pot down. It's around $520, and it puts our stack at around $822. Very nice hand, JB. You're a really nice guy, and thank you for subscribing to the channel. It's nice playing with people that are as cool as you. Next time, just try not to bluff me, because you know what? I got it. You know what I mean? We rack up our chips and we take it over to the cage. It's around $822. We're in for 200, out for 822, so that's a profit of $622. Let me know if you guys like this challenge here. Buying in for the minimum, we're up $622. Not too shabby for a couple hours of play. If you like this, be sure to hit the like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. I put out videos twice a week. It's fun stuff. Looking forward to the next video. It's going to be another session at Morongo. I got into a 2-5 game, ended up breaking, and then we jumped into the 1-3 game, and it was pretty crazy. Another subscriber played in that game, so you're going to want to check that one out. It got pretty fun. We ended up playing till 4 in the morning in that one, so there were some interesting hands that I'd like to go over. You're not going to want to miss that one, so hit the subscribe button and you'll get notified when I post that. Until next time, thanks for watching. Peace. Thanks for watching to the end of my video. Click my head below to subscribe and stay in the loop. See you next time.